Hey guys, here at UNL studying, and so I thought I would make a video about the 3 high 2 low before our game on Sunday. Hopefully clarify some things better than I did in the last video. To begin with, I wanted to stress that we have a basic pattern of the 3 high 2 low configuration that we're going to use, and then off of that we can do the pick and roll, but when the wing wants a pick and roll, you're gonna have to call for it. It's not gonna just happen because in the regular configuration, if the posts are on these two low blocks, they're right in the way of the pick and roll. So before the pick and roll can do anything, these two players are gonna have to spread out a lot. I would say at least 15 feet out from the basket. 15 feet, and you could even go all the way out to the corners if you're a three-point shooter. You get a corner three potentially. But we need to hopefully draw these defenders out a little bit and create a little bit more space for ourselves in the middle of the floor. All right, so let's go over the pick and roll first. The ball has to go to the wing before we can run the pick and roll. So you either dribble there, pass there, ball starts out there in the pick and roll. Call for the pick and roll, and the player on the top of the key, whoever it is going to come and set the ball screen. Again, I've been practicing this, so it might be David bringing the ball down or me bringing the ball down. We'll kind of play off of each other since we kind of familiar with the pick and roll a little bit. So, ball starts out here. Screener's going to set the screen around there, like basically close enough to the basket. And I can come around the screen and get a pretty close shot. I don't want to have to shoot from 20 plus feet. I want to get a jump shot somewhere in this area or up here, not as close to the basket as I can get. And in general, in this offense, we're going to try to get the ball to the middle, at least to the free throw line, whether it's the high post action, getting the ball at the elbow, or dribble penetration, getting to that point, because that's just a beautiful place to try to distribute the ball from. Puts a ton of pressure on the defense, and from there, we're almost guaranteed to get some kind of a good shot. As long as whoever has the ball doesn't force up something stupid. If you get swarmed, get rid of the ball. Find who's open. All right. So in the pick and roll, it's really, really simple. Hopefully, everyone knows what a pick and roll is. Guy with the ball is going to kind of threaten baseline, and then you're gonna take the screen, assuming that you don't get iced or at all. Like the defender doesn't do something weird, which they're going to start doing because this is going to be devastating if they just allow us to get right to the middle. So we're going to have to adjust. We're going to have to communicate. It's going to be a learning process for sure. And some teams will probably defend it better than others. So obviously then the screener is probably going to roll to the basket, I would say. Anyway, that's roughly where the post will be. You can flip the screen. Obviously, as the screener, you've got a bunch of options. You can run a little pick and pop. You can roll out here, and then when the ball handler gets to the free throw line, he can turn around and get you that three. Or you can roll out, get rid of this line so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Just to give you guys some ideas. So the screener's right here. Not up here anymore. There's nobody out here. Which means, by the way, that this is a safety outlet. If they go on a fast break, this guy needs to stay back. No trying sneaky, cute backdoor cuts or anything like that. You've got to stay on that weak side for spacing and for defending in transition. All right, I'm making this too complicated here. Okay, so you're gonna go around the screen. and the screener can roll a couple different places. So the three-point line can also roll out this way uh, for a little mid-range shot, or just roll directly to the basket, which is the most obvious thing to do. The ball handler gets to the free throw line. This ball handler gets to the free throw line. From there, potentially you can find the roller there, or out at the three-point line. All right, so that is the basic pick and roll. I think that's all I'm going to say about it. You can talk about pick and roll for hours, potentially, and we can communicate in-game about that. All right, so let's move on to that's the pick and roll. And that's, you have to call for that, and it's critical that everyone's spread out and spaced, and we don't have players in random places, because we need as much room to make this happen as possible. All right. So now, this is I'm going to set up the basic set that we're going to do most of the time, I think, probably, and the default if we don't call for a pick and roll. The ball goes to the wing again. We're going to have our post players set up here. We're just going to try to make an entry pass here. The most simple thing to do in this is just get it into the post and have them score. We have really strong posts, so I think that's going to happen quite a bit. And our post players are going to have to be good passers, and I think they are. Like from what I've seen of them play, I think that they are good passers. So when the doubles come, depending on where the double comes, as a post player, you have got to be patient, and you've got to find you figure out where the double came from. And we can communicate and kind of tell our post players who's open and what the defense is doing. So obviously, there's 4 defenders that could potentially double. If this guy doubles, this defender right here is guarding this wing doubles, then kick it back out to a 3. This defender from that wing doubles, same deal, weak side 3. This is the easiest for us. If the other post player doubles, then you get an instant layup. So just pay attention to those things. Be looking for those things. We don't want our players just randomly running around like when the ball goes into the post, because the post needs to know where everyone is. If they don't know where to look, it's going to be really hard to get anybody the ball. Once the defense starts reacting to this, then we can start talking about screens and other kinds of movement we can do. But to start with, just don't move. Like if your defender leaves you, you're going to be open. There's no reason to move. All right. So to summarize this, we're trying to get in our basic pattern. We're just going to be moving the ball to either wing, and these 3 players don't need to. You don't want any kind of action towards the hoop unless it's a pick and roll, and that will hopefully free things up for some open shots. All right. So then, as far as I want to talk about the high post action, because that's going to be really, really critical. We need to once they start denying the high post, say we have a defender fronting, or an early double, or there's all kinds of weird stuff that will happen. We need a weak side post to come up to the high post. All right, so we're going to have a high post, and we're going to try to get the ball to the high post. This achieves the same thing as that we did in the pick and roll. We have the ball essentially in the middle of the floor, and from there we can find people. Or you can just score. If you just have single coverage, just go ahead and score. But obviously, if they're fronting our low post, and all of a sudden we have a high post, move the ball to our high post, and obviously the defender who's guarding this defender is going to be up here, and this defender is going to be probably over here somewhere, and there's going to be nobody. There's nobody here, and it's just a layup instantly. The ball layup. Even if they're not fronting, they're doing something else, defensively. This low post player, once we get the ball to the high post, the low post can go all kinds of cool places and get open shots. You can flash out for a 15-footer. You can curl across and get a nice little layup there. Really, just lots of intuitive things that we can do off of this. So, just to summarize again, the goal of this offense is to somehow get the ball to the middle of the floor and make a play. Dribble penetration or passing it into the post. And I think that's all I'll say in this. This is all way longer than I intended it to be. So we'll see you guys on Sunday.